Hello, this is Awaken to Truth channel, and I am Michael Smith. And today we are going to answer the question, is crypto the new gold? And specifically, is Bitcoin the new gold? There's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. The big ones are Bitcoin, Ethereum. You hear a lot about Dogecoin, even though it's not really hardly worth anything. And there's others as well, but Bitcoin is definitely the king of cryptocurrency in the sense of it is the most marketed, it is the most talked about, it probably has the most hype surrounding it. And you've had many people saying things like Bitcoin is the new gold. And what do they mean when they say that? Well, first off, gold has historically been for thousands of years a currency, or it could be a currency or a medium of exchange. It's also obviously been used in jewelry. It has many properties that are special to gold. It is the king of the metals. There's no other metal that is as durable, as long lasting, that conducts electricity as well, that is as malleable. It's just the king of the metals. And so because of that, it has been a store of value. So if people are saying that cryptocurrency or Bitcoin specifically is going to become the new gold, then what they're saying is cryptocurrency is going to become a store of value. Well, let's take a look at the two side by side before we answer that question. Gold is something that's tangible. You can hold gold in your hand. Some who are Bitcoin advocates might say, well, that's part of the disadvantage. Crypto can just be transferred at light speed. Gold, to transfer thousands of dollars of gold, it's heavy and it's cumbersome and it's difficult to move around. That's not exactly true, but I do understand what they are saying. You can move gold through certificates of deposit in various ways. So there are ways to move gold without actually moving gold. You can transfer the ownership of gold without having to actually transport large amounts of gold. But I understand that argument that Bitcoin can be faster, more efficient than gold in that way. But that's assuming that people are accepting Bitcoin as currency. And so far, people are not accepting Bitcoin as currency. And you might say, well, yes, they are. Tesla is accepting it. Elon Musk, he's accepting Bitcoin as currency. He is. And he also has hedged that bet in a particular way that's advantageous to Tesla. And then, there was a time that he said, well, we're not going to accept Bitcoin anymore. And so there's very few people that straight up accept Bitcoin as currency. Those that do accept Bitcoin generally only accept Bitcoin that gets transferred back into dollars. And so you can pay with Bitcoin, but what you've really done is they have a third-party service that takes that Bitcoin and converts it back into dollars. So you've given up your Bitcoin, but you haven't actually paid with Bitcoin. You've just exchanged your Bitcoin for dollars, and the vendor or the service or the goods or whatever it is that you were buying has now taken your dollars in exchange for the Bitcoin that you sold. Why would people not want to take Bitcoin as payment? Because it's wildly volatile. Look at what it's done just in the last few months. It's gone from 60 something thousand down to the mid 30,000s today. And this is not some new swing for crypto or for Bitcoin. It has been highly volatile all the way up. It's been highly volatile. Anytime it goes on major runs, it is just as likely to go on a major fall. And nobody would want to take that kind of risk in accepting Bitcoin for goods or services unless it's able to stabilize and have very little movement one way or the other. There may be cycles that it appreciates upward. There may be cycles that kind of depreciates downward, but it's a relatively stable currency. Think about it. Why would you want to sell a service worth $1,000 for $1,000 of Bitcoin that if you're just going to keep it as Bitcoin, could be worth $600 a month from now. Now you might say, well, that $1,000 could be worth $1,400, $1,500 a month from now as well. And that's true. But why would you want to sell your Bitcoin if you know that it might wildly go up and appreciate in the future? And that's the point. Most people are not. The vast majority of the people that are buying Bitcoin to hold Bitcoin until it goes up in value. And then they're going to try and sell it to someone else, maybe at some point in the future when it gets to a high enough price. They'll try to sell it to somebody else for a higher price. So Bitcoin is all about the price going up. Bitcoin is all about buying at one price and selling at another price. That is not the nature of gold. So if you're going to make the case that Bitcoin is the new gold, you're going to have to make a better case, because gold is a store of value because it's tangible. It's a store of value because it has very unique properties. There's nothing particularly unique about Bitcoin's properties. Some people say it's got the best blockchain. Maybe. It's not going to be long before some other crypto can invent a blockchain that's equal or possibly even superior. So what happens then? Bitcoin is not scarce in the sense of in the realm of cryptocurrency. I know that Bitcoin itself is only going to have 21 million, coins, I guess, so to speak. That's all that there's ever going to be. But crypto is not scarce in any way. Crypto, you can start a new crypto tomorrow. You can start a new crypto next week. There's new crypto starting all the time. So whether Bitcoin survives or whether Ethereum survives or whether some of these others survive, the truth of the matter is many of these cryptocurrencies, because they're not scarce, because they don't have intrinsic value, because they're not used as a medium of exchange, they're going to go to zero. So maybe you can speculate and make some money in the meantime, but in the long term, many of these cryptocurrencies, I'm not going to say all, I do think it's possible that all of them could become absolutely worthless, but I will say it is certainly possible that a handful of them could find some use and some purpose, and then therefore they may have some value. But gold's value is in its properties. It's in the fact that it is used for jewelry. It's in the fact that it is used for very specific conducting of electricity and things like Elon Musk, ironically, who's a big Bitcoin advocate, SpaceX, NASA, the places that shoot things into space. They have to have the most efficient, most powerful ways to conduct the currents in many of those shuttles. And so they will actually use some very small gold wiring to conduct that electricity because it is the most efficient conductor of electricity. You say, well, that's not a big deal. I agree, that's not a big deal. But my point is, gold has multiple functions. Thus far, Bitcoin has not found any function other than to hold it and to hope and pray it continues to go up in value. And I believe that as the stock market is seemingly beginning a time of correction, we're not too far from the stock market entering a bear market or a down market, and we are seeing Bitcoin behave accordingly to all of the risky stocks, to all of the risky assets, to the speculative type of assets. Bitcoin is behaving right alongside those. Bitcoin is not behaving in the way that gold is. What is gold doing as the stock market is trembling? It's ever so slowly rising. It's gone up 2 or 3% this month as the stock market has had some really tumultuous days this week. Gold has either held its own or slightly gone up just a little bit. That's what a store of value does, is that when other things are losing value, the gold in times of insecurity and in times of difficulty is going to hold your value. That's why gold does particularly well in times of inflation. Bitcoin, to me, is not an inflation hedge. If Bitcoin is able to find some type of utility and some type of purpose, and in the future people are exchanging Bitcoin and they're buying and selling in Bitcoin, and everybody's content to have Bitcoin, then Bitcoin will continue to stay around and it will have some value. If it cannot get to that place, I think that Bitcoin could be like many of the other cryptocurrencies, and it actually could lose most of its value, if not all of its value, as the speculation bubble continues to pop. What scenarios could take place that would give Bitcoin sustainable value? Well, I've already said it. If it becomes an accepted medium of exchange. But if it becomes an accepted medium of exchange, that means that it's going to be stable. It's going to be something that might go up a little at times, might go down a little at times, but it's basically a stable asset. And in that scenario, it could become a store of value if it stays stable in times of difficulty, when the dollar is maybe moving downward. Maybe Bitcoin could be a store of value, and it could be something like digital gold. At this stage, it is not. It is behaving nothing like digital gold. And if you're buying it based upon that idea, I would suggest that you maybe reconsider. I don't give any investment advice on this channel. Obviously, not ever going to give investment advice. I simply share my opinion, and you can do with it what you will. But Bitcoin, so far, in the first little bit of stock market uncertainty, is behaving exactly like a speculative asset that may or may not have been extremely overpriced. How low will it go? I don't know. I think it's very possible. We'll see that Bitcoin could drop below $20,000 in the year 2022. And I just say that based on some of the technical indicators that it is currently giving. Will that happen? It's not a certainty, but I believe it's absolutely possible that we will see it. So I'm not against holding Bitcoin. I'm not against having crypto. I have always had the opinion that don't put any more into it than you're absolutely willing to lose, because I don't think there's any guarantee that it's going to be here for the long term. If you want to put your money in there and if you feel confident in it, go for it. But if you absolutely want to put your money in a store of value that has been proven, I think this video hopefully has laid out why Bitcoin is not the way to go. There's a proven source, there's a proven asset, there's a proven commodity that has stood the test of time, I don't know, several thousand years. And so far, as stores of value are concerned, it is still reigning king, and that is gold. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. And I'll be back with another video very soon.